On other fronts, slightly further south, as I've mentioned, there's intense activity. Our Air Force and artillery are heavily engaging in the Krasnogorovka area, and most likely active combat operations will not wait long. Moreover, our troops have already made quite intense attempts to breach the enemy defenses near Velskoye. Our forces are undertaking and in some places achieving tactical successes. The importance of the populated place, Nevelskoye, is hard to overestimate. It's approximately the same as, for instance, slightly further south in the district of Ugledar, between Ugledar and Marinka, the populated place of Pobeda. The enemy here has heavily fortified, the loss of which will allow our forces to intensively advance further, both towards Karlivka and to cut off the only paved road of the populated place Krasnogorovka. Of course, the enemy is desperately trying to hold its positions here, and the fighting is very intense here. A very fierce battle is going on in the area of the village of Pobeda. For the third day running, the enemy has been trying to knock us out of these positions with counterattacks, risking throwing their reserves here. This once again emphasizes the importance of this settlement and the fortified areas around it, while our troops are here repelling enemy counterattacks. But I think that over time they will go on the offensive here if we manage to advance here at least a few more kilometers. The situation for the enemy garrison in Novomikhailivka and Poroskovievka will be catastrophic. We also continue to keep our fingers crossed for our guys. Since we started talking about the Zaporozhye direction yesterday, our entire patriotic segment of the internet is buzzing with footage of the assault by the 70th Motorized Rifle Regiment on the village of Rabotina, as I've already mentioned. Actually entering the settlement and securing a foothold, there are two different tasks, especially considering the new ongoing. Given the enemy's tactics, it's usually easier to get in than to establish a foothold. For example, I have no information that our troops have managed to completely expel the enemy from Rabotin and secure a position. There are ongoing battles here, just as throughout the entire salient in the Verbova-Rabotina area. I've already mentioned the facts that it's actually very difficult to push forward here. There's a very serious defensive line. I really hope that it's merely a deceptive maneuver from our command. The main attack will be delivered elsewhere. I think that the following weeks will demonstrate this. Now we move on to the next crucial direction, this being the Chasivyarsk direction, where our troops continue to attempt to puncture the enemy's defenses. There are severe battles happening in the Ivanovsky wound. Yesterday we were able to make a bit of progress to somewhere in the middle of the locale. But let me reiterate that our troops have not yet been able to secure a position there because the enemy is constantly launching counterattacks. A very brutal battle is unfolding, and I think the outcome will hinge on whether we can seize control of the hill north of Ivanovsk. Once we take this position, of course the enemy here will fall apart and retreat, and that will simplify the further movement towards Chasovo Yar. Because this will already be the approaches to the first micro-district of Chasovo Yar, it's really hard to break through the enemy's positions here. A very tough battle. It's naive to expect that the enemy's defense here will quickly fall apart considering the importance of this position. I repeat, Avdiivka is a key defensive position of the Ukrainian armed forces, the loss of which threatens with tremendous problems across the whole Donbass front, and we see that the enemy is fighting for it very fiercely. Slightly north, our troops are also trying to probe already the enemy's position. I think that in the near future, the front here will come to life again. For now, here are local battles of significance. We will not talk about them separately. This is approximately what is happening on the front line. Continue to monitor the situation.